Well, good morning, everybody, and welcome to Friday, January 3rd, and hope that you are doing well no matter where you are watching from. And want to encourage you this weekend. Hopefully, we'll see you in church this coming Sunday. And if you are watching from afar, make sure that you're in church wherever it is that you normally attend and allow God to do something great in and through you here in 2025 and your church family there. Hit that share button real quick. We'll get started in the scriptures here in just a moment as we are waiting for people to get on. Let me just kind of share with you today, as we said, is January 3rd. This day is significant for several reasons. First of all, in 1925, on this January 3rd in 1925, Benito Mussolini declared himself to be the ruler of Italy. And we know that some of the events that followed that, obviously World War III or World War II, I'm sorry, and we find that in 1925, and then also in 2004, the Mars exploration rover named Spirit landed on the red planet Mars, and so that's pretty significant as well, and exciting stuff there. The Spirit landing on Mars, and then I have one more. It is on this day in fairly recent memory, 1959, where the 49th state, Alaska, officially joined the Union, and that would be Alaska in 1959, and that's pretty exciting there. 49th state, obviously we know the 50th state would be Hawaii, and that's in fairly recent memory. All right, we should have a good, decent group on at the moment, and I want to encourage you, if you're watching the recorded version as well, thank you so much for being on. Hit that share button really quick, and we're going to get started. Yesterday's verse was Acts chapter 4 and verse number 29, and hopefully you were able to meditate on that verse, meditate on that thought of yesterday. And that was a tremendous thought for us to be bold in our testimony, bold in our witness. And Acts chapter 4, verse 29, if you like to say it with me, read it with me, let's begin. And now, Lord, behold their threatenings, and grant unto thy servants that with all boldness they may speak the word. Acts chapter 4 and verse number 29. Obviously, if you were able to memorize that, congratulations to you. But the primary reason for the verse, obviously, we want to memorize as much as we can, but to meditate on it and make that our thought for the day. And so to be a witness with all boldness. And let's pray as Paul prayed, that we would be that witness that God would have us to be. Now, for today, I want to encourage you to join me in Matthew chapter number 6. Would encourage, if you can, hold on to those 3x5 cards and filter through them maybe each day. Obviously, it'll take a little bit longer each day to kind of run through them, but just keeping them fresh in your mind, I think that's so very important as well. We're going to go to Matthew chapter number 6. Hopefully have your 3x5 card ready. If you haven't started that yet and you haven't got to the store to get some, hey, I would encourage you to do it and have those 3x5 cards ready to go. I already have verse for today written out. And obviously that's not even fair, I guess, because I know what it is before you guys do, so that's not fair of me. But let's go to Matthew chapter number 6. Got an incredible truth for us today. Can kind of take it two ways, and excited about it, and hopefully it'll impact our day today. Matthew 6. Let's look down at verse number 18, and then we'll look at a couple of verses to further explain that as well. Matthew 6, verse number 18. That thou appear not unto men to fast, but unto thy Father which is in secret, and thy Father which seeth in secret shall reward thee openly. The thought for really today is this, is to be, I guess we can boil it down to two words: be real. Who is it that knows the most about us? It's the Lord. You look at this verse, and Jesus is talking about fasting. He's talking about. You jump back up to verse number 16. It says, "Moreover, when he fasts, be not as the hypocrites." And so he's showing the difference between those that are hypocrites and those that are real. He says at the beginning of verse number 18 that thou appear. The goal in fasting and being real in your fast is not to appear unto men as to be fasting. What people would often do when fasting is they, oh, woe is me, oh, woe is me, and you could tell they're fasting right all over their face. And so, what are they fasting for? It would appear that they're fasting to get the attention of their fellow man, and for their fellow man to say, "Wow, look at them. They are so spiritual." Okay? Now, let me say this. And so don't put on the facade of fasting, is what Jesus is saying here. But note this, that fasting does change. This is so good. Fasting does change our appearance. And it ought not to be a woe is me change, but when your body lacks for food, it is going to change your appearance. And now I want you to know the proper perspective, the proper motivation, the being real, if you will, of fasting here, and I would say of our Christian walk. Right in the middle of this, probably towards the end of the verse, it says, "And thy Father, which seeth in," you see that next word? Secret, "shall reward thee openly." The challenge for us today is being real. And who are you? Who am I? As we consider this being real, the who am I is who I am when no one's looking. The challenge is this, is that somebody's always watching, and that's the Lord. The Lord is always watching, and that ought to cause us to seek to be real, not this facade that people see, but our heart, and that's what God wants. In fact, the scriptures give us just a couple of reminders I wanted to point out to you, and if you'd like to write down these references on your card there. We're going to note with me here really quick, and we could go to multiple. I won't. We could go to Ecclesiastes 9 and verse number 10. We're not going to go there today, but that is a tremendous verse here as well. But I want us to look in Colossians chapter 3 and verse number 23. It says this, "And whatsoever ye do, do it heartily as to the Lord and not unto men." And once again, this speaks to the motivation behind why we do what we do. It speaks to the being real thought for today. And whatsoever ye do, do it heartily as to whom? As to the Lord. Why do we do what we do? We're doing it for the Lord. Why is it that even in secret, when no one's watching, we remain consistent and faithful to the Lord? Because we live life for, the Lord. And then I want you to note this. So we see that heartily aspect. That all-in aspect of our Christian walk. But I want you to know also in 1 Corinthians, chapter number 1, note with me just this thought, and we've got a couple of verses. If you want, I'll give you a chance to get there in 1 Corinthians chapter number 1, or if you like, you could just listen. As we come up, this thought just popped in my mind. As we come off the Christmas season, the gift giving of the wise men, okay? The wise men, they gave him gold, they gave him frankincense, they gave him, the little drummer boy gave him a song, he drummed for him. No, not really. But the question for us as we jump in now to 1 Corinthians is, what have we given to him? Or what is it that we're holding back? There are many people that say, I can't, God can't use me. I don't have this talent. I don't have this gift. I'm a nobody. And we kind of, I don't want to say humble ourselves, but we almost downgrade ourselves and sell ourselves short, if you will. And Colossians 3 says, man, heartily, man, we're to be all in. No matter who we are, we're to be all in for the Lord. And here in 1 Corinthians chapter number 1, here's another reminder for us as we consider these verses for today. Verse number 27, but God hath chosen, 1 Corinthians 1, verse 27, but God hath chosen the foolish things of the world to confound the wise. And God hath chosen the weak things of the world to confound the things that are mighty. And base things of the world and things which are despised hath God chosen, yea, and the things which are not, to bring to naught things that are, that no flesh should glory in his presence. Think about this now, this thought of being real. In Matthew chapter number 6, Jesus is pointing out the real and the hypocrite. The hypocrite, you can tell they're fasting because they're doing it for a show so the people can have pity on them. Oh, look at them. And Jesus says this, no, what you do in secret, God knows. And I just want to encourage you that why we do what we do. 1 Corinthians tells us this, that no man shall glory in his presence. Who is it that we're living for? Who is it that we're glorifying? It is the Lord. And so when we say be real, it's not always this outward show. Being real comes from the heart. And so let's, as we close out today, this morning, let's simply be real. Matthew chapter 6, verse number 18, that thou appear not unto men to fast, but unto the Father which seeth in secret. See, we fast, we live this Christian life, not for men, but for the Father which seeth in secret. He knows their motivations, so be real. He shall reward thee openly. And so I'm not saying let's be closet hidden Christians, but know this, that God sees our heart. And so let's be real. All right, we're going to end with that today. Hope that you are doing well wherever you are watching our Power Up from, and want to encourage you to have a wonderful weekend here, a great rest of this day. Let me remind you about services Sunday, regularly scheduled services. We'll be unveiling our theme for the year, and then also we will be introducing some of our goals and dreams for the year in the evening service on Sunday, so I would encourage you to be back for that. All right. Thank you so much for being on. Hit the share button if you haven't already done so. David and Claudia, good morning to you both. Hope that you guys have a great day. And then Paula Shear, good to have you on as well. Good morning to you. Have a great day. We do have a fresh blanket of snow out there, a couple more inches here overnight. And if you're in northern Michigan, hope you can get out and enjoy them. Have a great day, everybody. Lord willing, we'll be back at it soon.